Hey, what's going on, everybody? Connor here again with FBA Fridays, and hope you're having an awesome day. Today, we're going to walk through step by step how to actually go through and set up an LLC for your business. So stay tuned. This is exciting. You're ready to take your business to the next level by creating an LLC. But one thing you want to just make sure of, though, is this is going to make it official. So if you do happen to go through with this, you want to make sure you do maintain that, and you want to make sure you maintain your corporate veil. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, be sure to see last week's video, episode 3 of FBA Fridays, where I go into more detail on the legal considerations when setting up your LLC. Also, be sure to stick around for the end of the video where I break down the costs and kind of the continual costs for when I'm setting up my FBA business, so you have an overall feel of what it's going to cost for setting up your Amazon business. Now, there are a lot of different places that you can go to set up your LLC, and three credible ones that I've taken a look at are LegalZoom, MyCorporation, and IncFile. Now, me personally, I wanted the most bang for my buck, and kind of for my personal circumstances, I ended up using IncFile, but you can do a comparison. I'll show a comparison right here. So if you want to pause the video, you can go ahead and look through this before proceeding. For my circumstances, IncFile provided the lowest cost but the most options available for kind of what I was looking for. Now, that isn't to say that LegalZoom and MyCorporation do not have their worth, because they definitely do. It just happened to be that the options that they provided were either a little bit too much than I was expecting, or they weren't services that I was necessarily concerned with for the price that was given. Now, another thing to kind of keep in mind is MyCorporation and LegalZoom do offer more services. LegalZoom in particular can offer a monthly fee for legal advice and tax advice. So it is something I'm considering in the future in case maybe I don't have a local tax advisor or legal advisor that I can necessarily afford, is I might want to look more into LegalZoom. So it's kind of good for those other purposes, for kind of like a la carte things on if you don't want to include that all in kind of the LLC package, is it would be some additional add-ons to consider in the future. The actual application for your LLC is you need to figure out a business name. So if you already know what you want to call your business, or you kind of even want to just do a search to figure out what you might want, you can go to LegalZoom's website, and they'll basically allow a search engine for your state, which you can use prior to actually submitting your application. So if we're out on Google here, we can do LegalZoom, and they'll come down past the ads. Let's do the first one here. And then on the left-hand side for business formation, you can go to Limited Liability Company, LLC. And then that's going to take you to their search engine. So what you're going to do is kind of enter your name, and let's say, let's just do company, check availability. And then these are state defined, so that is something to be aware of. So if you by chance, like let's say like Apple, for example, if it wasn't branded or anything like that, and Apple was set up in the state of Florida, you could set up technically Apple LLC in California, in Wisconsin, and other states. So it is a thing definitely to keep in mind if kind of later on down the road you want to maybe brand your company name or trademark it in some fashion, that will be something that comes into play, because if you have another company also named the exact same thing, that kind of can cause some issues. You almost have to kind of like get the rights from them in order to do your trademark for that. But we'll just do Wisconsin, bring that in there, do the search, and then, oh, looks like somebody else currently has company LLC in there in the state of Wisconsin. So you kind of just like keep doing that, keep doing a search until you find a suitable business name for your state. And once you're good to go here, then you can proceed on with your LLC application. All right, so for forming and actually going through the process of setting up your LLC, the initial steps are going to be the same regardless of what provider you use. Is you will want to designate you're creating an LLC, and then choose your state that you want to file it for. So again, I'm going to be using IncFile. So if I go and Google IncFile, and I click on their first link, and I'll wait for that to get loaded up here, is the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the entity type and state of formation. So I'm going to choose make it an LLC, and I'm going down to the state of Wisconsin and get started. So from there, it kind of generates the costs for you. Now they do have 3 separate plans, silver, gold, and platinum. And it kind of just gives you a breakdown currently of what's going on there. So the state fee stays constant throughout. So there is a $130 state filing fee for the state of Wisconsin. That fee is going to vary depending on states. Some are lower, some are higher. But then the overall package rate is what IncFile offers and kind of what else can be included with there. So if you kind of take a look at the different options is it's let me know first off for compliance reasons when the annual report is due. So if I would be filing this right now, is this would be in Q3. So my annual report would be due September 30th of each year, and that would be $26. So that can kind of give you a breakdown of what potential annual reports you'll have to do for your state to kind of keep up and maintain with keeping up your LLC with the state. But we're kind of looking at what IncFile offers. Standard for all of these are they're going to prepare and do your files and articles of organization, unlimited name availability searches, which I mean, you could have already used LegalZoom with that, that's okay. Now, one thing is register agent service, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, but this is basically kind of a nice little feature because the first full year free, a lot of other ones, they want you, or I should say they charge you up front for that, and usually it's $150. So this is kind of a nice little bonus that IncFile has. If you're interested in Bank of America, you can do some options with that. Otherwise, statement, support, order tracking, got some consultation services, some kind of added bonuses. So those are all included with all the packages. But then we go a little bit lower, that's where we kind of see the different breakouts. So the first one is silver, only has the information at the top there, where gold and platinum now get a little bit more. So the first thing is the EIN number. You don't have to, I guess to put it this way is if by chance you have the EIN number as an a la carte item, don't do it because you can file that for completely free of charge on irs.gov. I think it's form SS4, which is very easy to fill out. You send it in free of charge versus in this case having to charge them $70 to do that. So highly recommend it. Either get it included or you can just do it on your own. Very simple to do. Now, when I was looking at this, I did want an operating statement and I did want a banking resolution. Those were kind of two important things that I wanted, but I didn't really care about contracts. At this point, I don't care about a website. Maybe sometime down the road I want to do that, but not important at this point. And then the LLC kit, which I was kind of looking at, kind of nice to get everything formulated into the same package. So it was free, so I thought might as well do that. Electronic delivery is nice, express shipping is nice, but what was really kind of one of the standout features with IncFile is their standard packet or their standard shipping. 5 days at the lowest, 1 day at the highest, but that is an extra $50. Whereas I think LegalZoom was a month and I think MyCorporation was a month, but you had to pay extra to get I think up to 5 days. So it's kind of nice where that's already included with the base package with IncFile. So I did the 279 package because it had most of what I needed, and the platinum was a little bit too much. I didn't need all the options with there. So I did that one. You can do either one that you want. And all I have to do is click get started. All right, so the very first thing is the contact information. So that's where you can just put your first and last name. So let's put good old Randy Marsh in there for South Park fans. Let's see. Put a street address in there. And surprisingly, the system doesn't care what state you put in there, because you can file it. You can technically be in one state and file the articles of incorporation in different states. So you may have heard on the internet that a lot of people set up their businesses in Delaware or Nevada, things like that. You can technically do that, but the thing to keep in mind with that is since you live in one state and you file in a different state, you have to kind of maintain appearances in both states, which means kind of double the filing fees, double the upkeep. So that is one thing to consider. So you might save in one area, but you might be adding on to your workload in another area. So we've got main contact phone number, And email address, this email address you want to use your business email address for this for correspondence. So again, refer back to video 2 of the FBA series and use your email from there. So let's do company LLC at gmail.com, and we'll go to the next page. So if it does the confirm your address, in most cases you're going to do whatever it finds for you, but in this case it's not a legitimate address, so I'm just going to say use as entered. Now for expedited shipping, I mean 5 days should be okay. It's not going to hurt anything getting it 4 days later than you need. So I just said no. I mean, it is additional $50. If you really want it by tomorrow, you can get it, but completely up to you with that. And then more of the company information. So again, you want to take your company name that you found that no one else has in your state, and you want to get that inputted. So put the company name there, and since it is an LLC, you do have to identify that LLC at the very end of it. So this is basically choosing how you want that to be formatted. I just simply did LLC, but you can do the LLC with the dots or one of the written out options. Now, very important is whenever you do any correspondence for your company, you can't just put your company name. It has to be company LLC or any kind of variation of that. So that is very, very important, because if you just say regards Connor Company, that's not legitimate. You need to have Connor Regards Company LLC. So you have to have that LLC designation at the very end. Now for business type, for the purposes of Amazon FBA, we are e-commerce, online retailer, so you'll choose that. And the business purpose that I put is just selling a variety of products online. And if you had a specific niche that you're selling in, you can definitely put that in there. So if you're like kitchen utensils, business office supplies, things like that, you could put that in there. But for most of you, you maybe don't know what you're going to be selling quite yet, so you can just put I'm going to be selling a variety of products and kind of leave it as that. It does not have to get too specific. The number of member owners, that will be important, because this is where we've taken on who's actually has ownership rights in the company. So if it's just one of you, you're kind of the sole provider, it'll just be one. Otherwise, if you have multiple, you want to select how many that should be. So I'll just do 2 just to show you how that looks. And then now for the actual company address, PO boxes are allowed. So again, we're going to take our PO box or our kind of mailing address from a video 2 of that FBA series and put that in there. So this can be PO Box 123, South Park, Colorado. Zip code, and go on to the next page. All right, so then here's where you fill out the member information. So typically that information you put on that first page with the contact information is going to be one of your member owners. So the first one, you can just say use contact information, have all of that fill in. But one extra little thing is the percentage of ownership. So you will want to break out that accordingly. I'll just say for the purpose of this, it's a half-half split, but you have a lot of different designations on how you want to do that. So make sure you have the proper percentage. And like always, make sure it adds up to 100%. So I'll just do half and half. Randy and Stan, same address. And also has half of the business. If you just had a single member, you would just have the 1, fill it out as 100%, and you'd be good to go. So go to next. Now the registered agent. So what a registered agent is a person or a company that receives kind of legal information for your business. So any kind of like official correspondence from the state, or any hopefully not, but any like lawsuits or anything like that, is the registered agent is the person that's going to be receiving that. Now it could be you, it could be someone else that is receiving that. But another thing to keep in mind is it could also be kind of like spam. spam mail as well. So by having this as like a third party, you allow that to, like, they'll kind of sift through the important stuff and they'll contact you with any information, and you don't get solicited with any other additional things. And what's nice about the IncFile is your first full year is free, and then after that, I believe it's I think it's $120, something like that, which again is a little bit nicer than the other ones because the other ones were 150 or more. So that's good. So I'll just say yes, I would. If you by chance had you had your own terms on who your registered agent was, you can just click no to that, and then you won't be opted into that. So I'll click next. Now for the EIN number, again, if this is included with whatever kind of company is going to be your provider, perfect. However, if it's an additional charge, again, highly recommended you don't do it as an add-on because you can do this completely free of charge on irs.gov. Fill out that SS4 form, mail that in, and you're good to go. So I'll just say I'm going to use the contact information. You will have to provide that person's personal social security number for kind of verification purposes. So be sure you have that in there. And then you also need to designate if you are a foreign individual and don't have a social security number. So if you do happen to be outside of the United States and you don't have one, you will have to click yes to that, and you will have some verification that you need to do. For most of you, you might just simply be a United States citizen, so you can click no. Sometimes there's one that pops up where if the people are living at the exact same address, it might ask if you are married. If you are setting this up as two partners for an LLC, you guys are married, then you'll have the option to say yes and then choose how you want to be broken out, whether it's going to be taxed as a sole proprietorship or a partnership, because marriage, you can have those filed in the same tax return. So for physical address, the important thing with this is with the IRS, it's a little bit more, I guess, official, so it does need to be a physical address, so they can't submit your EIN number for your PO box, so it has to be kind of your personal address or some other address of your choosing. So it's usually okay just to use the contact address for that. Again, if you have a PO box as kind of your business address, you cannot use that in this case. So just confirm that, that'll be okay. And then at the very bottom, you're choosing what your principal business activity is, in which case for Amazon FBA, that is going to be retail. Go ahead and click next. And they do have kind of a partnership with Bank of America for setting up different accounts. If you're interested in Bank of America, or maybe you have something already out there, kind of like what they have to offer, this kind of gives you a rundown of kind of what the offer includes, some different bonuses. And really what you're going for on this page is if you want Bank of America to contact you with setting up a small business account, or if maybe you want a different provider or you have different plans, you can simply just say no. At this point, I'm just going to say no, and I'm going to click next. So this is kind of just a verification of the main information. So again, I'm filing in the state of Wisconsin, LLC type, got my contact information, looks good. Yes, I want IncFile to be my registered agent. Company address, I have my PO box. Business type, looks good. Member information, got my 50-50 split, looks good. EIN information, verified, yep, this is my contact. Social security number, classification, retail, all looks good. So I can proceed to the next step. Now, with business licenses and permits, they do have a service available right here, which is basically they will go out and find, depending on where your business address is located, but also your personal address, to figure out what potentially might be needed for either local permits, local licenses or state licenses, things like that. So I thought this was kind of nice. I would rather kind of have them figure that out versus me spending a lot of hours trying to dig and prod and figure out what all the different tax laws are going to be and what all the licenses I need to have. So I basically included this with my package. Is I allowed, I forget what the company was, but I allowed them to find what the licenses were that I needed so they can give me the paperwork and then I can fill that out myself. I think they do have where they can fill that out and submit that, but I think it's like $200 each, which is a little hefty. So I just said that yes, I want them to kind of find the necessary application forms for $99, send that to my business address, and then I'll take care of them from there. But you can opt out of that if you want as well. So basically confirm the address you want it to go to, and you're good to go. Just be aware it does, again, add that $99, so your price will increase accordingly. And they do offer a free business tax consultation, so I thought that was kind of nice. I personally haven't done mine yet. I kind of want to wait till later on in the process when I have a lot more things established, and I kind of maybe have like a couple weeks or months of running the business before I actually figure out kind of the ins and outs and have kind of like a little bit more of logical questions, so I'm not making use of, or I should say I'm making use of my time a little bit nicer. But you can figure out kind of some tax considerations, deductions, things like that. So it kind of works where if you're doing this right now, you get everything up and running, you have a couple months of running it, then kind of towards the end of the year before you do your taxes, maybe do this tax consultation. That's kind of what I'm envisioning with this. So you can be kind of better prepared and have a better idea come actually filling out your taxes. So I'm just going to say yes, or you can opt out of that if you don't want it, and click next. And then the last screen is going to be your payment information. And this can be your personal credit card with that. That is perfectly okay. We don't have a business bank account quite yet, so that's fine. You can use your contact information, put what the cardholder happens to be, and then go ahead and fill out your credit card number, expiration date, card code, agree to the legal statement and the cancellation policy. So there is a cancellation policy where if they don't, I believe it's if they don't ship it within 24 hours, or you want to cancel it within 24 hours, that's okay. I think it's, yeah, $30 cancellation fee, which is perfectly okay. So if you have any regrets, that's kind of nice that they have that leniency where they can back out of that, but just note there's a deadline for that. It's not, hey, they shipped it, oh, I don't want it. No, you have 24 hours to make that decision. So agree to that, and once that's all done, click complete and file, and you are now the proud owner of an LLC. Thank you everybody for watching. If you liked or found some value out of this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe and see more of my journey to kind of help your journey, be sure to click the subscribe button at the bottom. And in the comments section, let me know where you filed your LLC so we can kind of get a gist of where everyone is at. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you next week.